All right, this is the debut episode of That Dude podcast with me, Tom Byron, and I'm going to bring on my co-host because I really don't know what I'm doing here. So, everybody, welcome Miss Christy Canyon.
Woo!
There she is.
Oh my God. You always know what you're doing, Tom. You
No, I
always know
don't.
what you're doing. And sometimes it works out better when you don't know what you're doing. But I've
Yeah.
got to say, I'm honored to be your first of many, 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 many guests down the road.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, see, because the reason I brought you on as my first guest is you have so much experience in doing this type of
Yeah.
stuff, and you know how to keep a conversation rolling and pick up cues and all that stuff. And I mean, I've been on some podcasts, but I've never hosted one myself. So
Oh my God. I was on Sirius XM for 18
yeah,
years for Playboy Radio, and then it became Vivid, and then cancel culture hit, and that 3% screamed loud enough to get the sex channel taken off of Sirius XM. But
you know what? That's starting to the tide's starting to shift a little bit. The cancel cult that they don't have the power they did a couple of years ago. They're starting to, you know what I mean, fall by the wayside.
they're loud screamers. But you know what the great thing is, Tom, in this business, especially since you and I got started, I was 1984, and I think you said you were 1982.
Ooh, yeah. May of 82.
Oh my God, how it's changed. There's always something to do in it now. I mean, before you had filming, magazines, at least the girls had lots of Palm Agency magazine, all those great people, Suze Randall. And then once in a while, like a bookstore signing. And it was always in the middle of like some weird area where they allowed those gasp adult bookstore, right? But they fucking lined up to meet us. And then the 90s came around, and then you had the dancing. But now that they've got the internet, and I have to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, girls always had more avenues to make money in this business.
Right. 100%.
It really was. So here we are on That Dude podcast with you, Tom Byron, who I love and adore. What made you get into podcasting? Because it's all the rage. I mean, it's phenomenal.
Well, I like to watch podcasts. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, and Jim Norton has a podcast, and I like to watch him. And I got into him because I work in this store called Extreme Gifts, where we sell like sexual things and other things, but but there's a lot of downtime, waiting for customers or whatever. So I'm on my laptop, and I got into podcasts, and I was like, wow. I mean, not that I'm such a great host or anything, but I have access to a lot of people. I know, I mean, guess who followed me on Twitter yesterday? Remember Nikki Dial?
I love her. She commented on something after I said, I love you, Tom, or whatever I said. I quoted your tweet and said something, and then she jumped in. She's popped back up about 2 years ago. She, out of the blue, someone said, oh my God, Nikki Dial's on Instagram. And I said, oh, it's probably a catfish. Don't send
money. There's so many of those, man. It's so hard to,
In fact, a public service announcement on Tom Byron's That Dude podcast. Never send talent, whether it's adult, whether it's soap opera stars, what singers, don't send money. 99% of the time, it's not that person. People get scammed. Wake up. There's a lot of cockroaches out there. Like, I never ask for money. Most girls don't ask for
I do. Give me money.
Well,
if you're out there, my Twitter handle is @RealTomByron. @RealTomByron. Send me money. I love money.
We all do, but you get something in return. No, it's not marrying me. You're not paying me to marry me. Go to our loyal fans. Go to our OnlyFans. For that money, you get a video of me. You get a photo set of Tom Byron, you know, that kind of thing. But anyway, and so I DM'd Nikki Dial on her IG page like 2 years ago. I'm like, if this is really you, who was the photographer that shot us together and who did the makeup? And she DM'd back, Ron Vogel and Alexis did our makeup. We were at Ron's studio in the back shed, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, it's you. Because nobody could describe Ron Vogel's studio like Nikki Dial and I.
Yeah, Asia Carrera did the same thing when I sent her a friend request or something on Facebook. I just sent her a picture back. You know, I just went, took a.
I love Asia. I love how some of the girls, a very small percentage, migrate back at some point. It's always been a safety net for a lot of us, especially from that era where we don't, to my knowledge, have a lot of the horror stories. The newer, it was always a safe haven for us.
Right, exactly. And the center of that moral universe was, Jim South. That office,
And for people that don't know, because Tom and I could talk like best friends for hours. For people that don't know, Jim South was one of the only two, not the 2,000 in this world now, agents that dealt with us. There was Reb from Pretty Girls and Jim South from World Modeling. And it was like, I'm going to go with, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because you were in it 2 years before me, 98% of the talent was with Jim South.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, Reb was kind of an outlier. He wasn't, he was definitely, excuse me, I just fucking drooled all over myself.
I know, you're looking at those.
Yeah, no, Reb was always second banana. And actually, he actually called me up one time because there was that rivalry. Say the word for me. Rivalry.
Yes.
See, I'm getting used to my new teeth.
These are all new. I love your new teeth. Although I have to say, I personally know your old teeth, and they were fabulous also.
Yeah, but I made the mistake. I got the veneers.
Okay.
Back in like the late 90s, that was the thing to have veneers. So, but what they do when you get the veneers, they grind your real teeth down to little nubs, and then they glue them fucking things on basically. But they didn't tell me that those things have about a 20-year shelf life and they start falling out. So I had all my veneers start to fall out, and I just went, fuck it, let's start all over. Yeah. So now I got,
choppers. Teeth. You got, they're beautiful, Tom. They're so great.
Yeah.
It's, when we were younger, we would say to people our age, which was fucking ancient when we're in our 20s, and someone would be like, oh, I'm 50. And I was such a little punk. I'm like, oh, age is just a number. You look great. Okay. Age might be a number. Tell that to my hip. Tell that to my left foot. Tell that to my back. Like, age might just be a number, but your body, like I had, my left foot has some, sports injuries. Like it was hurting, and I go to the foot doctor. They do the MRI. Right. And he's like, well, you have a sports injury. What did you play? And I said, nothing.
Porn.
I'm
you played porn.
Yeah. And he's like, but you had to because you show us. I was like, well, stripper heels for 10 years. Well, he's like, yeah, that would do it. And sure enough, so my left foot just, it smarts a little bit sometimes when the cold weather comes in.
I'm with you, man. I have so many things. I have arthritis. You should write this down. Arthritis, diabetes, hypertension. I take a handful of pills every night because I'm 63. It just is what it is,
You know what? It's better than the alternative. We're still here.
Absolutely.
We're doing it, and we still look pretty fucking good. So I'm not.
Yeah.
And we lived through in my humble or not so humble opinion, we lived through the best time ever in the business. We were such a knit family, Tom. It was a beautiful era. I look back on those decades and go, how lucky were we?
Oh, we were, man. It was. I would look around and go, I can't believe I'm living in this beautiful apartment, driving this beautiful car, And yeah, it was like it's like when's this gonna end?
And you forgot the best part. Beautiful apartment, beautiful car, and last but certainly not least, fucking these beautiful women.
I know.
Getting paid.
Exactly. I mean, this whole porn thing, all it is me trying to get laid. That's really all it is. Because I had no game with girls when I was growing up. I was shy. I still can't talk to girls. I talk to you because I know you and we have history and all that, but I can't walk up to a girl and just start making, you know what I mean?
Shooting the breeze.
And here's another breaking. Since I left California, or actually since I left the industry, I've been celibate. 10 years I've been celibate. I have not gotten laid one time in 10 years, over 10 years.
You know who else? And she said this on my past podcast about 2 years ago, so I'm not outing you. This girl, Janine, beautiful Janine, vivid girl, at 2 years ago, and she said this again, I have to say on my podcast, she had been celibate at that point for 5 or 6 years. I
got her beat.
You do. Now, being that you are Tom Byron, you are the legend, you are one of the top, Mount Rushmore men of the business. Can you and do you watch adult films ever to get your rocks on?
No, you know what? I take that back. There's a couple of girls that follow me on Twitter. I follow them back, and because on Twitter you could the porn going by, right? And I will look them up on Google and possibly verge over to one of the tube sites. And Gia Durza, that's one of them.
Don't know that one.
Yeah, well, she's brand new. You wouldn't know.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Gia Durza. There's another one, Chloe Capri, who's really cute. She has braces and she does all the ass stuff, and it's great. So yeah, I lurk, but I would not say I'm a connoisseur or a, I don't watch.
It's not a daily thing with you. It's not
even. I jerk off twice a month, if that.
In all honesty, though, I've always heard that it's good for a man to jerk off to clear out the pipes.
Well, I do. You know what I call it when I do it? Getting rid of it.
What do you call it?
Getting rid of it. Let me get rid of this.
Out with the cold.
Let me get rid of this so I can sleep or something. You know what I mean? It's like the mitrazopine's not working tonight. Let me jerk off.
I totally get it. I do. Once in a while, like maybe once a month, I'll just go onto one of the sites also. I can never watch anything where I know the talent because I know them. Half of them I've been with. I just search like weird stuff, like, girl getting, gang banged. And they never show the guy anymore. If you notice, the guys are shot from their chest.
That's what everyone said they should do anyway. Every time they shot a close-up of my sound keeps going out. I'm gonna take these stupid headphones off. I think I'm just here we go. You hear me?
I hear you fine.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right. I don't know. Okay, well
you know what? I love it that you're working out the kinks with your girl Christy Canyon over here. I think it's amazing. I really do. And they're lining up. Like when I told Ginger, I'm doing Tom Byron's first podcast, she's like, oh my God, I want to do it next. You are going to
Let's do it.
You're going to get all the grades. I did the group text, so you guys have each other's current numbers now. Now, being that you're in New York, and I'm assuming not in the city per se.
No, I'm in the suburbs.
Do you still keep in touch with a lot of our friends from the 80s and 90s?
From New York or from
LA? There? Which everyone's in a different area now. A lot of people moved to Vegas. A lot moved to Texas, Florida.
Well, I keep in touch with our old general manager, salesman, John Blatt, who used to work with us at Extreme.
Okay.
I keep in touch with him. I actually just was texting with Seth Gamble about, because he had hit me up like a year ago when I was going through all my dental stuff about, coming and doing an acting part in one of his movies, because he's like the I guess the producer or whatever of Wicked.
Right.
So he had called me like a year ago to do an acting part, go to LA and the whole thing. And I wasn't ready. I was going through dental surgery and all this crap. So I just hit him this morning, and yeah, he said he's got something coming in November. I said, man, I need something sooner than that. I'm gonna go there sometime this summer.
There have been a few people that have hired Ginger and I for cameos, like
right.
Axel Braun, Ricky Greenwood, and they're big productions, they're big budget,
right.
They're so much fun. And you know what? I still get that warm, fuzzy feeling being on a great set.
On a set, yeah.
I love the business. It has done so right by me, because I did right by it. With the exception of a couple months in the mid 80s where, I got a little crazy. Like I did a scene with you. You won't remember this. It was probably late for 85, The Woman in Pink.
I remember that. I
think Heather Wayne and I, if you remember Heather Wayne, we had to have been on a 2-day bender, right? We were but I haven't done anything like that in decades. But it was, I fell asleep during the scene. And you're like, wake up, wake.
I remember that. We shot at an Irish bar.
Not that movie. We shot at a soundstage, and there was a big bed, and I was like, bed.
Well, yeah, bed. Well, the other day we shot at an Irish bar on Van Owen Street. I can't remember the name of it, but I guess you weren't in any of those scenes. But I just remember an Irish bar, and then also the director was named Marty. He was like a drama teacher at some local college or something like that.
Marty, I don't remember.
I don't want to say. He kind of looked like the skipper from Gilligan's Island, kind of a big, jovial looking guy.
It sounds vaguely familiar, but what company, do you remember what company he shot for?
I think it was that company that put out The Woman in Pink. I don't remember. Was it
Western? I don't remember either. I remember a lot, but not obviously everything. We're going back 40 years, right?
I know.
Has so much room in it for everything.
Yeah.
It only has so much room. But so even though you're not in LA, you're not in the business, you still work kind of on, like the side of the business, working in a novelty store.
Yeah. I mean, and I edit while I'm in there too. Besides watching podcasts, I edit for Boxing Insider. I edit for XPW Wrestling. I have a LinkedIn thing, and I'm trying to get some remote work, video editing, because that's what I do. I mean, that's what I'm good at is video editing.
Now you're also on Loyal Fans.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna go live probably like tomorrow and just do like a Q&A. Because I've never done that. I've never done anything like webcamming or anything like that, so I don't really know the protocol. Maybe you could fill me in on that.
I do a live on my OnlyFans once a week, and I try and keep it Sunday nights, 5 p.m. PST. The consistency is what they like. Now, once in a while, if it, like I went to the Doobie Brothers on a Sunday, so I moved it to a Monday night. But you try and keep that. They have questions. If they're nice, they send you tips, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Now, I auction off my lingerie. I don't know if that's your bag, but if you have any questions, let me know. I have a meeting.
I have a Versace shirt that I wore in a scene with Sasha Grey.
Oh my God.
And that was the last time I worked with Sasha Grey, and it was also the last time I wore that shirt. And I never took it to the cleaners. So it has Sasha Grey's like
juices.
Yeah. And me too, my sweat. So how much you think I could clear for that fucking thing? Now,
You know,
granted, it's the Versace shirt and was over $1,000
of course.
to buy. So
Of course. Because money
that
meant nothing back then. It was
exactly.
like,
So
period.
that plus the Sasha sweat, what do you think?
You know,
$5,000? Could I get $5,000?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I sell clothing on eBay, you know, but the thing is on eBay, and we could talk about this later.
I put it up on eBay, but I didn't get anything. I think I put it up for like $3,000 or something like that. I'm not letting it go for less than $2,000. Bottom line.
But I don't blame you. You've had it this long. What's another year? Talk to me after about that. I think
okay
is your best bet.
Yeah. No, I've already got a whole bunch of followers on loyal fans. I want to convert them to subscribers, but I also want to, get that tip going. I don't know what they want my old 63-year-old ass to fucking do for them tips.
Find out. Hey, I'm 58 and my old ass and tits is not far behind.
But you still look good though.
Well,
you've preserved very well, my dear. Yeah.
I like to preserve pretty well.
You're very.
We're always going to have our hardcore following. Now that I'm still out there, and I never left the business. I never okay, I'm going to leave for 10, 20 years. Whether I did Playboy Radio, and then when that, after 18 years, I jumped on the next lily pad. I got on OnlyFans. I got on Sex Panther. There are so many different avenues, to go. I did some scenes, collaborations for my OnlyFans.
Right.
I love it. I'm like, when people have their midlife crisis, they get the Corvette. I'm like, I want to fuck someone.
Yeah, you know what? My midlife crisis was when I had Tom Byron Pictures, which was because the first year and a half of Tom Byron Pictures, I was in every scene because there were all these hot girls in the business, and I wanted to fuck all of them, and I knew my time as a performer was coming to an end because I was in my 40s. I was approaching 50. So I basically wanted to burn the candle at both ends and do as much fucking as I possibly could before I rode off into the sunset, which is exactly what I did.
And you rode off so well. You did. You look great. You look amazing. No one ever has anything bad to say about you. You know what I mean? Like you're good. You're that dude.
Yeah. Well, I try to be nice to people. And plus, you know what? I don't associate with that many people. So there's no chance for any scandal with me because I'm not out there getting drunk and having TMZ snap pictures of me. You know what I mean? Right. I'm not part of that scene anymore. I used to be. Early 90s, I was all over the Sunset Strip, man. Going to Coconut Teaser and Club Lingerie and all those,
Viper Room.
No, Viper Room. I went to it when it was called the Central, okay? Before Viper Room, and I saw Chucky Weiss there.
I never went there when it was that club.
And I cock blocked him. There was a girl. This was back when I was living with Gina Fine, and we went to go see Chucky Weiss because she's a friend. She knew everybody in Hollywood. She was the best person to go clubbing with in LA because she knew.
Amazing.
She knew every bouncer, every doorman, every club owner. So we went to go see Chucky Weiss, and there was some people. And we all went to Canner's Deli afterwards, and there was one cute girl, and I just started, wrapping her up and stuff. Ended up taking her home. Then I found out later that that was Chucky Weiss's girl, and I fucking cock blocked him. So sorry, Chucky's in love.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Chucky got cop blocked by Tom Byron.
By that dude. I mean,
yeah.
But you know what? You are that dude. Now, I never knew, like, we knew each other very well on set. You and I never hung out off set to my recollection.
Yeah, I don't know.
We just didn't.
I just like I hung out with Mark Wallace a lot because we had a mutual love of marijuana. And I like going to have sushi and stuff. I dated a few girls. I mean,
in the business.
Yeah.
Who'd you date?
Remember Gina Valentino?
I went to high school with her.
Yeah. We went out for we went out for not that long, maybe less than a year. But she ended up she shot her. She had a stalker ex-boyfriend at the time that and he had like just terrorized her, and somehow he had managed to get over to her apartment and get in, and Gina shot the guy. Didn't kill him, just kind of nicked him. But so that night, I think the SWAT team came to her apartment, and they had to take her away. But it ended up going away. But yeah, she actually
well, I
shot a guy that was stalking. Well, nobody knows.
No.
The only other person that knows is Lori Smith, and Lori Smith's not with us anymore.
Oh my God! Now, was that in the 80s when she lived? I went to her apartment once in North Hollywood.
No, it wasn't that place. I know the North Hollywood place.
Okay.
It was on, I want to say Burbank and Kester.
Okay, that wasn't where I went in.
Yeah.
I went there, I'll tell you, in 1985 with Michael Paulson that owned Paradise Visuals. When we were dating, we went to
always like Mike.
You know what? We saw each other. I'll send you pictures. I have no ill feelings towards any exes, right? And so we started talking, and he came to California 2 years ago, and we went to dinner. I got to tell you, he's the same guy. He's just living the life. He does real estate in Florida. I mean, I'm sure
on.
He's doing fine. He's the ultimate Peter Pan. Never got married. He just loves to fuck girls. Yeah, exactly. And it was great to see him. And then he's like, come out to Florida. I'll send you a ticket. And here we are 2 years later. I'm just busy and I don't have time, but I will. But we'll talk every so often. And he gave me some of the best advice when I was 18 and we were dating. And he used to always say, save your money, Christy. It's called fuck you money. Because if you save your money, you can tell everyone, go fuck yourself. Because you don't have to do anything for anybody if you're if you're independent. And
I could have used that advice. I got to tell you.
He would, and then his other advice was also, if anyone starts to complain about money or they can't pay, start complaining right back. Doesn't matter what you have. Start complaining. Yep, payment. He's like, because that way they're not going to ask you for money. Because if you're
no, that's it. Yeah, I think I've had that used on me a couple of times.
Works like a charm every single time. Oh my God!
Remember when Michael brought AC Cowlings to the award show, the Night of Stars? That was and it was like less than a month after the Bronco chase, and here's Al Cowlings at a porn event.
He was friends with all those guys. Like in 1985. He used to hang out with AC, OJ, and I remember a designer that was really popular, ABS, right? It was like one of the hottest, designers in the 80s. And he used to say to me, I love OJ's a really great guy, Christy, but he keeps beating his wife up. Like even then, and then I forgot about it, and then 10 years, whatever later, I'm like, oh, I do remember Michael Paulson always saying that. Like, I never met him, whatever, but.
Yeah, same here. Although I did meet Kalen, because another one I saw at a party like a year after everything, the trial and everything. So yeah, those are my two people from the OJ thing that I met briefly.
I met whatever isn't it? What Caitlin.
Kalo.
I met Kalo on Playboy Radio. He came in, he was promoting something that he was trying to get off the ground.
Right.
I don't know. And he was actually really nice. I have no opinion of that. I just,
Yeah.
I don't get in anyone's business type of thing. Whatever. Did he know? Who knows? I don't know. But he was really nice, very mild mannered, very quiet, Cato, just very humble. That's how he
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the guy was kind of shy. He was out of his element, so he was a little shy. But I just met him. It was like, hey, how you doing?
Right. Okay.
I didn't stand there and talk to him,
And now let's say you're walking down the street. Let's say you go into the city for something, Tom, also known as that dude. Do people still recognize you?
Up here?
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but because I'm not in a place where any kind of, celebrity would be, because people in LA or New York City, they just kind of expect it. You know what I mean? I mean, I've seen a lot of people walk right past me in New York City. Marvin Hamlish.
Right.
I mean, so you don't really think of it in LA and up here. I don't know. I kind of keep a low profile. I mean, I'm semi-retired. So I don't call attention to myself. Let's put it that way.
Right. I get that. I know. It's rare even for me because this is what I look like almost all the time. A little lipstick, mascara, just hair. I don't go out looking like, the bouffant. Remember those hairdos from the 80s? It was like who I spoke to about a year ago, and I owe her a call. I'm a bad friend. Tina Marie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Mark Carrier's ex-wife. And she's living in a different state, just, doing nothing. But I got to say, sometimes it's fun to talk to our old peeps from that era.
Yeah. The only thing I remember of Mark Carey's studio is that's where I learned that Stevie Ray Vaughan had died. And I was all fucking bummed out. It's like I like literally like had to like leave the set. And, I was like, because he was like my hero. He was like the, Jimi Hendrix. Fuck Jimi Hendrix. Stevie Ray Vaughan is, and I saw him in Texas, like, back in the 70s, yeah, in Austin.
And he's not, I mean, he fell off a bike, whatever his name was, Mark Carrier, fell off a bike, biking in Hawaii, and became like a vegetable. His brain got damaged.
Really?
And I gotta say, Tom, from everyone in our era, he was the only bad apple to my recollection. He wasn't a very nice guy in the end.
Yeah, see, I just didn't really know him that well. I mean, his operation or whatever for what he paid was not within my, I don't work for certain low rates. Right. I just never did it, So I never worked for them a lot. But I never really met the guy. But the one thing I didn't like is like how he brought the prices so down. He flooded the market with that cheap stuff, and then all of a sudden people that were getting $30-$40 for a piece,
right?
We're now getting like struggling to get a $10 price. You know what I mean?
For people that aren't maybe new to, watching podcasts about the adult business, I have to say, Mark owned a company in the 80s, probably started early 80s, called Video Exclusives. Obviously, with the word video exclusives, it hasn't been around since, 30 years.
Yeah.
And he was the guy. I'm not a big fan of his, but I do give him credit. He was the first genius, let's call it what he ended up a multi-millionaire. Unfortunately, he can't enjoy his money now. He was the first guy that would buy ads in magazines.
Oh yeah,
Wank, and 99 scenes for 99 cents. And these people would be like, holy shit, I'm getting 99 videos for 99 cents.
Yeah.
Right? They'd pay that 99 cents, whatever the shipping was back then.
I'm not saying I didn't respect his business acumen. I just, for the overall health of the industry, it kind of like fucked things up.
He brought the bell curve way down. So these people would buy these 99 scenes for 99 cents. They're expecting like a truck to back up, like FedEx, like get one cassette in the mail with 99 scenes just in a row. You couldn't you'd get like a headache even looking at them. They went so fast. But he made millions off of that scam.
Yeah.
You got 99 scenes, but it was all on a 90-minute cassette tape.
Yeah, with the tracking going through. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, you can't even watch it. You know.
Oh my God! He probably bought used tape. It probably cost him $2.
Oh no! He bought what they call one pass. Actually, it was probably double pass. What one pass means is it's already been recorded, and you're recording over it. So if you have one pass tape, can be recorded and then recorded over again, and the more times you record over it, the less the quality goes. So he was using at least one pass tape and probably 3 or 4 pass tape.
Interesting. I didn't even think of that, but what are you going to do? Who was your, obviously looking back, Vivid was my favorite company. To me, they were Mecca. They were the top of the food chain, right?
Yeah.
Who was as male talent, Tom Byron, that dude Byron is your new name. Who as male talent, who was your favorite company in the day to work for?
Well, I mean, Vivid, but really, I mean, I liked the guy, Bisco. He was good. I did one movie for him, but my main guy over at Vivid was PT. You know what I mean? That's who I did my best work for and who I enjoyed the most because we were on the same wavelength. We both came from theater, and I respected his greatness in that area. I mean, have you seen Jesus Christ Superstar?
No, but I've heard it a gazillion times. But you guys had the same vision then.
Yeah.
We're both on that same kind of theatrical track.
Yeah, we wanted to take something, I mean, as limited creatively as porn and elevate it to something else. We were on the same page that way because that's why I got into porn. I didn't just get in porn to get laid. You know what I mean? I wanted to be like a movie star, like an actor, because I thought when I moved to California in 1980, I assumed that pornography and mainstream films would converge, that I'd be doing fucking, orgy scenes with Robert De Niro. I actually thought this, you know what I mean? And if you think about it, I mean, the production values of 70s porn were getting better and better and better. I actually saw a billboard on Santa Monica Boulevard in Westwood for a movie called High School Memories. And it was a Net Haven on a fucking billboard on Sunset Boulevard. And I was just like, and then also don't forget Caligula, that movie with Malcolm McDowell and John Gielgud and Peter O'Toole and Helen Mirren had hardcore sex in it. You know what I mean? So that was another thing where I was thinking that these two, they're going to merge. And then Reagan got in and Meese Commission and kind of that whole, and plus VHS, because VHS became a thing in the early 80s that kind of took away that magic of a theatrical release. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of, and AIDS. That was another thing that kind of like threw a wrench in the whole fucking, that whole idea of mine that porn would, transcend itself and become a legitimate form of filmed entertainment. I liked working on films. when it all became video, shot on video, that kind of I wasn't a fan of that. Gonzo, the thing
Oh, one day
that
wonder.
yeah. Well, but besides One Day Wonders, even just Gonzo, having a guy be a character behind the camera and yeah, okay, it was a good thing, but then everyone copied it, and then it just became this like there's a cheap way to make porn. It was even cheaper than the One Day Wonders, because the One Day Wonders, you still had to have a set, you still had to have, makeup artists, catering, all this stuff. Gonzo, you just pick up a camera and you start following a girl around and maybe, it's just there's no art to it. It's any moron could do it. That's why when I started doing Gonzo, and I did my Comeback Pussy and my Whack Attack series and all this stuff, and all of a sudden I'm the fucking king of Gonzo because I'm winning AVN and XRC awards. I didn't really. It's not saying I didn't appreciate it, but it was like, dude, this is easy. I'd rather produce a film. Look at this little bastard.
Oh my God! Look at that little putty tat. That's the cutest little cat.
She was being very bad this morning because I was feeding them, and I accidentally stepped on the other one's foot. Her brother, not little brother because he's already grown up, and Stella, this cat, misinterpreted it as because she made a little sound when I step on her foot, misinterpreted it as that the other cat attacking me. So she went to go like kill the other cat. Like I've never seen her like that. So that's why I've got them separated, because I don't want them to get into a fight, outside my bedroom.
Cat. Oh my God. So cute. That is so cute. Were you always into cats?
No.
No.
No, wait, I take that back. No, yes. I love animals. Any kind of animal. Cats are the most low maintenance. You know what I mean? Remember, I live up here in the snowy, the frozen tundra. Okay. So the idea of having to take a dog out to pee and shit in the snow in 20 below degree weather, I'm just not a fan of that. So cat, they got their little box. I got 3 of them for 2 cats, 3 litter boxes for 2 cats, and I keep them very clean because I don't want my place to smell like I have a cat.
I totally get that. I do. At one point, I think I was the crazy cat lady. I had 4 cats.
But if you have a house and enough place for them to run around and hide, do all their shit. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment too. Well, it's not an apartment; it's more of a townhouse.
The thing that I stopped liking, because I got my cats were all in the 90s, and I would declaw them. Guess what? They all lived till they were 18, very happy, healthy lives, right? Then California or Los Angeles made the no declaw rule.
And I'm on the fence about that.
It ruined all the furniture. Like you had the trees and the cat trees and blah blah. Nope, they want the couch and the bed. And I thought, I don't want an animal that is gonna ruin my place. I don't live in a museum. I don't want big claw marks down the arm of my chair with the stuffing coming out. And I just thought, you know what? I'm done. I'm on the fence about the decline too. I just know that I had 4 cats at one point. They all live very healthy, happy lives without claws. And mom was happy because her furniture was intact, but what are you going to do type of thing? It is what it is.
Well, I'm kind of at the point now. It's like I bought all new furniture about 2 years ago when I was doing Uber, because during the lockdown, Uber drivers made a lot of money.
I bet.
You know what I mean? So that's when I bought all my furniture for my house. And now it's all clawed up, but what are you going to do? It's not like I have a whole bunch of visitors coming over day and night. You know what I mean? So
do you ever want to have a girlfriend or date one person? Or are you at 58, I don't have the energy for a boy. Like
exactly. The energy, the desire. I mean, I'm trying to pretty much take care of my own life at this point and be there for my close friends and stuff. Right. So I don't really want to, I find it hard enough taking care of my own self. Don't know if I could bring someone else into the equation, but you never know.
That's how
But up until a year or a month and a half ago, when I found I didn't have the self-esteem. How am I gonna, talk to a girl and I have no teeth, or I have, teeth missing because the veneers fall out? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
So that
I remember I saw you. It was pre-COVID, let's say 2017, 18. And I saw you
might have been, yeah,
the big
because
dinner.
I moved here at 2019.
Okay, so it was before that, and we all went to dinner with April and Ash from Rialto.
Yeah, someplace in Santa Monica or Marina Del Rey or something. Yeah, I remember that. We got a picture together.
Yes, and I remember you weren't as happy then as you seem now, for whatever reason. Because I remember leaving with the guy I was with, going, he didn't seem happy to see me. He was so quiet, and you were.
You know what? I had just spent the whole day driving around Los Angeles. Remember, I was doing Uber before I left here. And between that, I was doing Uber, and I was also I was doing stagehand work. Remember Tony Montana?
Love him.
Julio. He got me into the union, stagehand union. So I was doing that and doing Uber because, as you know, it's expensive as hell to live out there. So
and it gets worse every day. I see him maybe 4 times a year. I'll see him. We all go to dinner with like Mickey Lynn and a big group of us. He looks better now than 40 years ago when I met him on set. He looked phenomenal. He's really come into his own.
It's that stagehand stuff. It's the stagehand stuff. A, it's good money, and B, he's been doing it long enough, so he's got a regular gig. Bold and Beautiful. I think he worked on The Prices, or still works on The Prices Right. So he has those regular gigs, so he works all the time. And that stagehand stuff, it'll build you up, man. Because you're pushing like big carts around and
he's
stages.
Amazing. So the last time we all went to dinner, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, time has no meaning anymore. Time goes so fast. Last time we went to dinner, he's like, I want you to talk to somebody. And I thought it was like a friend of his that was a fan, right? So I'm like, hey, it's Christy Canyon. What are you doing right now? You stroking your cock, right? That kind of thing. And all of a sudden I hear, hey, it's Mark Wallace. How are you? And I talked to Mark, and I hadn't talked to Mark in 20 years, and it was really good to catch up with him. He's living.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in a long time.
It's been a long time, and who knows if I'll ever talk to him again. But it was really great to hear his voice again. He comes from that wonderful. Mark is one of the few guys that I actually dated in the early 90s. We'd fuck off camera, He was adorable, though. He was loving and romantic.
Yeah, he was a good guy. It's just when that whole thing happened with the the HIV thing, it was weird. We had just started a company, me and Rob, the Extreme Associates, and our whole thing was being non-condom, because everyone was rushing to put rubbers on and stuff. So and also, because of my association with him, there were a lot of rumors flying around. I actually had to go to Steve's office and have a powwow with him. It's like, your girls are going around saying that I have HIV and blah, 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 because I used to hang out with, it was the whole thing,
right? Steve,
and then,
just so people know, Steve, that you went to go see, owned Vivid Video, which is
what right. Yeah. So, and when all the stuff started coming out about, the date changes, I don't know, I sort of, I don't know, I sort of like just cut off contact with him, stop talking to him. I hope he's well, but I also hope he understands I had to do what I had to do because, We just started a company. You know?
Yeah, no, and what he did was atrocious. We had stopped talking, I don't know, 5 years before that came out. I think I'd already quit.
Yeah.
But I just remember thinking, oh, Mark, come on, that kind of thing.
Oh, it was horrible. I went through like a lot of mental shit because of that. I mean, think about this. Who's my first love?
Tracy Lords.
Exactly. See how that turned out would not even knowing who she was and okay. Yeah. Okay. Who was my best friend back then? My best male friend.
Peter North? No. Mark Wallace. Mark.
Exactly.
So both of them.
Yeah. So you ask why I haven't had a girl or haven't been or do I seek a relationship? I got big time trust issues. Big time. I even made a post on Facebook like I'm the poster boy for intimacy issues because I don't want to, go through that heartache. I mean, imagine being in love with somebody and then finding out not only did she lie to you about her identity, she lied about her age, and she was actually 16 and 17 when just fucking, yeah. And then, fast forward years later, my best friend, oh my God, he's got HIV. And not only that, he, he did some hinky shit. And I'm just like,
I know.
I mean, that's why I only have one or two friends. That's why I don't, get into relationships because I don't want to go through that trauma again.
I don't.
I'm in therapy. I'm in therapy right now. I'm dealing with it, and I figured out some things about myself. One of them being I'm autistic. I have been all my life, and it was spawned from when I had childhood epilepsy. So I've dealt with this, and my therapist says, well, yeah, you maybe have Asperger's or whatever on the spectrum, whatever they fucking call it. I did the 70 question test, and they said, yeah, okay, you got it. But you're 63 years old. You've obviously high functioning. Right. You've learned to deal with it. You've learned how, but I'm in therapy now. So I'm starting to identify why my brain works the way it does.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, you talk to me right now. I'm kind of all over the place with my thought process. And that's another reason why I really want you to be my kind of, my guiding hand, my co-host in this whole thing.
I will jump in any time you need me, want me, don't want me. I will always make myself available. I'm very lucky that I've, organized my life where I'm kind of a free bird. I could, for the most part, do what I want when I want, type of thing. Yeah. And it's a good feeling, so anytime, because I love and respect you. And really, everybody from our era, with the exception of one girl I'm not crazy about, I love our people. I truly love our era.
Man.
It was just, we were such a close-knit family. There were so few. Every so often, somebody would come in and they couldn't get it up. And you'd never hear
And we people like me and Mark and everyone, we'd sit back here and laugh at them. Oh, you need a stunt cock. I did a lot of stunt cocking back in the 80s.
I had a few. For some reason, I was on a lot of sets with Ron Jeremy. He filled in about 2 times that I can remember.
Yeah.
Blake Palmer, he couldn't get it up once, and I think it was Nick East couldn't get it up. I've had twice on sets. I've had problems. Nick and I just didn't get along. We just didn't like each other. But you know what? What are you going to do? I don't dislike them, but there was no chemistry at all.
Right. I mean that it's weird. It's like some people that think they're just awesome performers and this and that. For some reason, I didn't like. Okay, I'll say it. Nina Hartley. Never was into her. Actually, me and Joe, because she worked a lot in the 80s, and me and Joey used to say, oh, who you working with? Oh, Nina. And we've always give each other a look like, because we just weren't into her. Yeah, she's a big porn star and a big ass and everything else, but it did not work for me. Never did.
I want your viewers of that dude, the most amazing podcast, to understand. Doesn't mean we don't like those people.
Oh
as
yeah.
a person.
No, we get along. We get along fine.
But it's
just, but
you had to have some kind of chemistry. You had to, and you know what? We're not robots. There would be that one or two that you loved him as a person.
Right.
They just didn't float your boat type of thing when it came to that. And so be it. We're still great friends. I saw Nina last year for the first time in years. I think she was on my Vivid radio show probably in like 17, 18, 19, right before COVID. And then she went MIA. I saw Nina for the first time at the 50th reunion of the release of The Devil and Miss Jones. And I had never seen it. So I went with beautiful Keisha, who I fucking love. And
that was the first movie I ever watched. First porn movie I ever watched.
I had never seen it. It was amazing. And Nina Hartley was there. And I'm like, Nina, because you know me, I'm so like, I'm like, Nina, oh my God, how are you? It's so good to see you, blah, blah. And I go to hug her and she was like, hi there. And I thought, she wasn't as excited to see me.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've always kind of, Nina's a little, I won't say fake, but she definitely has a facade that she puts on for the,
Yeah, I don't know
puts on for the press. And
I don't know. But then at the end, she was like, it was really, I think at first, and sometimes I get that where I'm just like so animated naturally.
Yeah.
I don't get it when someone's kind of standoffish. Like, aren't you as excited to see me as I am to see you? Like that.
Yeah. Well, I remember one time when I first met Herschel Savage, Harvey, R.I.P.
Love him.
He told me a couple of years later after I met him that he thought I was sort of rude and stuck up when I first met him. Aloof, I think was the word he used. And I told him, it's like, no, dude, I was like in awe of you. I was in, all these people that I had watched in college and high school in Houston, because I had to drive 100 miles west to go see a porno movie. You know what I mean? Because I lived in the Southeast Texas town called Orange, and there were no pornos theaters. There was no nothing. There was Jesus. That was it. That's all you had. Jesus.
Every corner.
If you want the smut, if you want the vice and the debauchery, you got to drive 120 miles west to Houston. And that's where that was my education, my porno education. So yeah, so when I met, people like PT and people like Herschel and Joey Silvera and John Leslie especially, I mean, dude, I didn't know what to say. And I may have come off aloof, or the bottom line, I was just taken aback and in awe of these people. They were my heroes.
I see before I got into porn in 1984, right after I was 18, I had only seen one porn film. And it was some night, I think I was probably drunk, at some guy's house. And he's like, oh, look at this, Christy. And he like puts in a video. And I'm like, what is this? And it was Hal Freeman, Valley Girl with And I'm like, who are these? Look how much fun they're having. Oh my God, they're doing it in a car at the park. Now, granted, I go back and go, they're probably on Ron Vogel's soundstage,
Yeah.
So when I got in, I knew nothing. I didn't know who these people were. I mean, I quickly really found out who Tracy Lords, Ginger Lynn, Tom Byron, Peter. I quickly learned, with the help of Alexis Vogel, R.I.P. who people were. And I was like, but I always felt like they were always, which I still believe, they were like the kings and queens. I was like the little puppy dog walking on the set. about, sex. I had never been with a girl in my personal life. I had never been with two guys in my personal life. I had never done an interracial, scene or sex with any. I learned about sex on porn sets.
Same here. The only difference in my case is I knew everybody because, like I said, before I moved to California I would go to Houston and watch. I would spend a couple of days going from theater to theater to theater watching movies. I knew all the directors. I knew all the actors.
Right.
That was my thing. It's like whenever I walked into Jim South's office for the first time and I looked around the walls, I went, I'm in the right place. I know all these girls. Yeah. So I actually knew everybody. But going back to what you said about learning to fuck in front of the film, I was the same way. I had full bore sex with one person before that, and she was a prostitute. Right on Airline Drive in Houston, Texas. There's a road. It used to be a whole bunch of what do you call it? Homes, mobile homes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And they would be modeling studios, but they were actually they were whorehouses. So I had my first sexual experience with a whore or a prostitute, sex worker, whatever the fuck you call them now. And maybe a couple of like getting jerked off, from a couple of girls. But I mean, I basically learned how to fuck in front of the camera.
And I want people to understand that we were so fortunate that we could learn about it with pros in a very controlled and safe environment. And we made a couple, but I never felt threatened. I never felt okay, I showed up for a girl, and I'm doing a 10-man, anal gangbang.
Right.
What they told you were going to do is what you did. There was there was no backstabbing. There was no bait and switch. It was very safe. We all knew each other. And
plus, we had a lot more power back then too. The actors and actors, we had a lot more. I mean, because it's not like today where you can give somebody a pill or a shot or whatever, and all of a sudden they're a porn performer. You actually, this was a skill. We had to, be able to fuck in every sort of condition, and
right.
And it's got to get up, So what?
Like
I'm sorry.
The business has completely changed. Like everything. It's But anyway, I got to wrap it up soon. I wanted to
wrap it up.
Ginger and I were wondering, Tom, what is going on with your biography? It's not an autobiography. It's a biography.
No, it's a book written about Tom Byron, written by award-winning journalist and best-selling author Mike Sager. It's called "Fame is a Whore on Butt Row."
Oh my! Okay, and I didn't know that, and I love hearing that. With that being said, when is your book coming out? Because I've been hearing about it for at least 2 years.
Oh yeah, I've been hearing about it for 5 years. Hopefully by the end of the summer. It's like every time he gets a little. First of all, the guy's a couple of years older than I am. Okay, and I'm, he just got COVID again.
Oh, geez.
And that's it. And he said, I don't understand it. It's like I just got a booster a month ago. I said, stop with the boosters. That's what's giving you COVID. It's like it's like they don't work. I took one when they first came out. I will not take another one. And guess what? I've never gotten COVID.
I agree. I got my 2 shots because we all are kind of like, I never.
Well, it was when it came out. It was like, I'm so fucking tired of wearing this fucking thing on my face. If I got to take a little vaccine and I'll be able to walk around with that stupid thing on my face, I'm down. I didn't do the 2 shots. I did the one and done. I did the J&J.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, and then I did 1 booster, I don't know, 4 years ago, whatever. Nothing since. Because I'm not anti-vaccine. I got the 2 shingles, but enough is enough at this point. I think I got it once, but I don't even know. It was like last year. I was in Chicago for a convention, flying home feeling like I was like
that's exactly how I felt the day after I took the fucking vaccine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if that's how COVID felt, I think it was the day. But I never got it. I don't know
if I had it because I remember getting home from Chicago, going to sleep. The next day, I'm like rummaging through the medicine cabinet. Oh, here's my COVID test, right? And I stick it up my nose, whatever, put it in the formula, and it just positive goes all the way up. And I'm like, fuck, maybe I did it wrong. So I take the second one out of the package, do it again. I'm like, fuck, I got COVID. Then I'm like, when did I get these COVID tests? They had expired 2 years prior. So I Googled, do the test, still work after they expired. And it said no, because the chemicals break down, whatever. So then I just went to sleep for 2 days. And then by the 3rd day, I felt better. I go down to Save On, Thrifty, whatever it's called now, CVS. I get another test. Nothing. So, and then I felt fine. If I did have it, I still don't know. If I did, obviously I lived. And it was like a really bad 4-day cold or flu. I've had flus for 2 weeks that were a gazillion times worse than what.
See, I don't even get flus. I think because I hydrate so much because of my diabetes and stuff, I literally go through.
Oh, are you there?
You see me?
Yeah, it just froze for a second. Okay, so
your thing is it's been kind of choppy, but what are you gonna do? It is what it is.
That's
most of it's good. But you got a few audio dropouts, but what are you gonna do?
Oh, I know. Okay, so when you edit, if you need to call me and I'll just say tits. God, like if a few words drop out, I'll just like airdrop the words to you.
That's too much work, dude. That's too much work. Hey, look, well, you know what we need to do? And I got to talk to my boy Gino back in LA. We need to be in a goddamn studio in person, you and me with our guests. And that's what I'm going to work on next, because this remote thing it's okay for what it is, but I need to go down to LA. I got a place to stay. I stay at my boy John's house.
Okay.
Book some guests, and we'll just shoot a whole bunch of episodes in LA. And we'll hang out and go out and have dinner and all that shit.
And we're gonna make up for lost time when we never hung out, just because we were on. We had different circles in that little circle of peeps. We just hung out with different. I was more, I was really good friends with back then was Heather Wayne.
Yeah, we went out I think once or twice.
She was so cute. And Bruce 7, we used to go to his house all the time in Canyon Country. We'd have parties.
I remember working for Bruce, because whenever there was like somebody I wanted to fuck, and he was shooting a scene, he'd add me into the scene. I'd do it for free. I didn't, it's like, oh man, I want to, any way you could just put me in this scene too. I'll, he was always good like that. Because he knew he would get great footage if I was legitimately hot for a girl.
I loved Bruce 7, again, R.I.P. And then I was also besties at that time with Tina Marie, Mark's wife, and who was in the business in the early 80s, and Alexis Vogel. I loved her. So she was the one and only time I met John Holmes on W Pink in January 1985. He was working with somebody. So I go into the makeup room. Lexi was so much fun. So I walk into the makeup room, and there's Lexi standing up, her chest against John Holmes' chest, and his dick is coming out from her legs, and there's still this much. So I take my tits and I push him up against Lexi's back, and his cock goes through my legs too. And there's still that much left, kind of, And then she just gets down and sucks him off. Like she was like, she would have been
Yeah.
greatest porn stars. You used to walk in the makeup room, she'd be like getting doggy style by people.
Oh, I know. I remember Lexus. Yeah, I actually had a boa constrictor. I ended up giving away to her and her boyfriend because the boa constrictor was getting too big, and it's like it was hard enough for me to feed the mice, you know, to the boa. It was getting big to where it was like I was going to have to start feeding it rabbits or something, and it's like, nah, I can't. Just take this thing. And they took it, and I don't know whatever happened to it. But yeah.
So funny. All right, baby. I'm gonna get going. Please, please
All right.
keep me posted, keep me updated. When you come out to LA, your friend will find a studio and we'll fucking whip through 5 a day type of thing.
Let's do it. Let's do it. One day wonders.
Gonzo style, baby.